All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday and welcome. Thanks for making it to this meeting. And it's Sheba from Salesforce Admin's San Ramon user group, where we share knowledge and network. And we meet monthly here to learn about Salesforce, whether you are brand new to Salesforce, starting your career or mid-career or skilling up for a new opportunity. We are your trail buddies and we inspire and propel each other towards our next cherished goal. So please follow us on social media, stay tuned with all our updates. We post our videos and share PDFs from presenters on YouTube and Trailblazer community. To view all our previous videos, you can visit our YouTube channel, which is San Ramon YouTube channel. Salesforce admin's YouTube channel. And this month we have invited Phillip all the way from San Pablo, Brazil to walk us through Tableau dashboards. And a little about me. I am co-founder kindcause.org. I work at Jamf as senior Salesforce admin. I've been the community group leader since 2020. Early 2020, about January 2020 to be precise. And I had the opportunity to present at Dreamforce 2021. I'm 4 times Ranger, 9 super badges, 9 times Salesforce certified. We were elected, San Ramon group was elected as a board member among 65 other board members. And we have more than 500 members in our group now. So we are growing, ever-growing group, and we enjoy everybody's participation monthly. I'm also trying to do my Tableau super batch. So inspired by Phillip, I am giving it a shot. So we'll let you know when I'm done with those super badges of Tableau. There are 2 super badges. It's a super set. So we'll keep you posted on that. And so in this presentation that Phillip will give us, Phillip will talk about dashboard design, interactions, so saql, SAQL editing, security predicates, and more for your developer and architect journey. So I'll hand it over to Phillip to briefly introduce himself. And we are excited to learn through his presentation. Take it away, Phillip.
Cool, Shiba, cool. Hello, everyone. Are you guys hearing me well?
Yes.
Let me share my screen.
Let me stop.
Can you see my?
Okay.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Starting to share.
Okay,
yes,
guys.
yes.
Great, great. Okay. First of all, guys, nice to meet you all. I'm glad some of you back. Here is the country I live at, Brazil. It's the 5th largest country in the world, and this is our flag. Literally says order and progress. You know, the green represents our the forest in our country, the yellow the gold, and the blue, of course, the seas. And I live here in the state of, it's not San Pablo, but San Paulo. It's like Saint Paul. It translates to English, it would be literally Saint Paul. São Paulo, in the state of SP, that SP is also São Paulo. We live in a city called São Paulo, in a state also called São Paulo. And it's one of the largest cities in the world as well. We have lots of cool places to live. And this right here is, for those of you who know New York, this is our 5th Avenue. Is Brazil's most famous avenue. It's called Avenida Paulista, Paulista Avenue in English, okay? Here's more pictures of it, as you can see. And this great building with these red columns over here is the Museu de Arte de São Paulo, São Paulo Arts Museum. This is our Times Square. Every New Year's Eve, every new events that happen here in this avenue happens here at the front of the MASP, Museu de Arte de São Paulo. Okay. And we also, I bet you guys know, Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro is, São Paulo is our greatest city, but Rio de Janeiro is the most famous one because of the Cristo Redentor, the Christ the Redeemer in English. And it's one of the 8 wonders of the world. This is the Pão de Açúcar. English is literally a sugar loaf. And basically, I think if you guys seen Fast and Furious 5, you probably see this picture over here displaying the Christ and this all of the city below. This is Rio de Janeiro. Okay. For cuisines here in Brazil, this is, I think, by far our most favorite cuisines here in Brazil. Is feijoada. What's feijoada? Basically, it's black beans with pork meat, like sausage, bacon. Some people likes to add things like the nose of the pig sometimes, you know. Exactly. And curiously, I don't like a lot feijoada, but I must, if I say this here in Brazil, I'm a sinner. I am a cast out, you know, because everybody here in Brazil loves feijoada. Everybody. Okay. This is also a very common dish here in Brazil. Farofa is basically a special kind of flour mixed with herbs, bacon, and spices. Some people mix it with eggs or carrots or tomatoes and this kind of stuff. This is what you use to, how can you say, complement your dishes with rice. This is usually eaten with rice, you know. And our most famous celebration is the Carnival. This is a festival that happens all years, and it didn't happen last year because of the pandemics, you know. And but where this is where the schools of samba, we have different schools of samba that perform a special kind of event. In this, the sambódromo. Sambódromo is the place where you do the samba, literally translating. And the schools of samba, then all of them parade in this sambódromo, and they get notes and voting for which one was the best. And this happens every year. Is by far our most famous celebration, you know. It's even worldwide. Everybody from all different countries come to Brazil just to see our Carnival. Okay. And we are here today to talk about, again, Tableau CRM, but it's not Tableau CRM anymore. So if you guys are watching this video recording from the future, and probably you know that the product name now is called CRM Analytics. Okay, Salesforce has rebranded Tableau CRM to CRM Analytics. So every time you hear the term Tableau CRM today here, know that we are talking about CRM Analytics. It's the same product, it was just rebranded, okay? And in our last event, we talked about how to build a data set, how to digest the data from different connections and bring our data from Salesforce to the CRM Analytics data manager, and how to manipulate the data in the data flow, create connections, joins, calculated fields using or the data flow or the recipes. And the output is a data set. And today we are going to use the data set to build our dashboards. The data set is the baseline of Tableau CRM or CRM Analytics to build our queries, okay? And let's go just straightforward to learn how to create a dashboard. Here at CRM Analytics, we click create and create dashboard. We can create a blank dashboard, or you can create a dashboard from a template, okay? I encourage you at first, Salesforce has very good concern about meaningful and well-designed dashboards, if you know what I mean, because they know how to put the minimum amount of information in a way that will capture your attention. So if you guys don't know very well how to build dashboards, or because the design of the dashboard matters as well. You know, not just the queries and the numbers you are inserting on it. The design and how it will be displayed, which numbers will be displayed, and where it also matters. So if you to train a little bit, if you want, after the event, start creating dashboard using the templates here over here. Okay, the dashboard will be empty, but you can fill the design will be ready for you, and you can fill the empty spaces with your queries and visualizations. Okay, today we are going to build a blank dashboard so I can show you how this is done. Here is the dashboard designer page. Okay, here at the left you can see all the dashboard components. We call them widgets that you can use. This is a chart, this is a table, this is a brand new repeater widget, this is a new feature that was just released. Texts, numbers, links. These links, you can use this to link your dashboard to a different dashboard into Tableau CRM, or to a different URL somewhere else. You can create a link in your dashboard to link to an URL outside Salesforce. Okay, this is the brand new component dashboard. What the component is, this widget component is basically a dashboard inside another dashboard. So you can use these, if let's suppose you are building a dashboard and you use this dashboard in different dashboard pages and change some things. You can use a component to create a single dashboard and display it in different dashboards. I'll show that later how this works. Okay, this is the container where you can, for example, I'm dragging the container. Is just like the name says, a container where you can insert charts inside, or tables or texts. The advantage of the container is that you can insert images on the background and make them visible by making your charts transparent. We are also going to do that later. You are going to see. This is an image widget, so you can insert images. This is one of the few widgets that doesn't support interactions. We're going to talk about interactions later. Filters, lists, toggles, dates, ranges. Okay, this is basically the components that you are going to use. You can use, you don't have to, but you can. Okay, this is the dashboard default page where you can set the number of columns if you want. You can set the name of the page. I don't want this. I want to not label it. Oops. Page 1. Oh, page 1. I am misspelling this. Let's. The number of columns is just for the design. Okay, guys. You can add or remove the number of columns accordingly the way we want. But it's just for the design purposes of the dashboard. I usually use the default number that I think is 12, the default number, and I never change this for any particular reason, but you can if you want. Okay, the number of the row you can use fine, you can use normal, you can even select the cell spacing. Okay, or no cell spacing. I usually leave this as the default, but you can change if you want, and you can change the maximum dashboard width and the background color. If you want to use the dark mode, you can change the gutter and the grid for your dashboard. Okay, and change for the devices. If you want portrait, landscape, the orientation, the platform. But you can, as I'll show you later, you can build a dashboard to be displayed in a smartphone or tablet design. So you can change this and display, select which one is best for you if you're going to display it in an Android or iOS system. Okay, and you can even insert a background image here on the default dashboard page. Okay, you can add more pages to the dashboard. And Philip, why would I add more pages to my dashboard? Guys, when sometimes think about again the design of the dashboard that I talked to you about. If you insert lots of charts, one chart, another on one table, another chart, and another chart, and another, and another, and another, the dashboard will get lots of information, but it's very hard to focus. It's very hard to focus. So the best practice is not to add several different charts in your dashboard page, you know, but instead create different pages with critical information to and spread this information accordingly. You don't have to insert all your information in a single dashboard page for two reasons. First, this one about the design that I just talked to you about is very hard to focus on the information. And the second is the dashboard performance. We're going to talk about this later. But if you insert lots of queries in a single dashboard page, the page gets very heavy and takes a little while to load. So if you distribute your query into different dashboard pages, you increase your dashboard performance as well, okay? So it's best for the design and it's best for the dashboard performance, okay? Let me add the page 2 again. Now we have 2 pages, when titled and dashboard page, okay? I've dragged a container. Let's start building the dashboard. And in this container, let me insert a chart. For example, I want this page, this space right here to be filled by a chart and the side of it to be filled by a table. Okay, we have both a chart and a table. But how do we build a chart? That's when the query and the data set enters. We can click here and click on the chart. We will select our data set that we have previously created using our data flows and our recipes. Or you can use an existing query. Let's suppose we created a query here and we are not using it. We can use this existing query, or you can even select a Salesforce object. This is a different type of query where Tableau CRM, like Shiba taught, uses a language called saql, Salesforce Analytics Query Language. By checking these Salesforce objects over here, we will use saql, Salesforce Object Query Language. So we will build a query here by searching not in the data set itself, but directly in our Salesforce object, okay? And of course, the syntax will be saql, not saql. But I will teach you with the data sets that we just built. So we click on the opportunities data set, and now we open our lenses. This is a lens, okay? A lens is a visualization of your data. By default, all of your data sets that you want will be displayed with the count of rows with no groupings or trellis, okay? This is basically, this count of rows is the number of rows our data set has. Our data set of opportunities, we have 902 opportunities. That's it, okay? But what if I want to display the total sum of amount? Sum of amount. Now we are seeing the sum of amount for my total opportunities in this data set. Is summing all my rows, all my rows of the amount column and displaying the total over here. I can display even several different informations in the same query. As you can see here, I am displaying the sum of total amount, the total count of rows, and the total average of my amounts. The average of my opportunities is $115,750,000. And basically this is it. And this is always by default a horizontal bar chart. But Philip, I don't want a horizontal bar chart. I want to see this as a column chart. You can change here at the chart type. Or I want to see a stacked bar chart. This won't change anything, because to change the bars to the stacked bar, we need to add groupings and see the difference. I'm just going to add the groupings so you guys can see. But you can see also pyramid charts. The difference about the pyramid chart and the bar chart is that you can use only two different measures. Do you remember the data types of the data sets in CRM analytics? We only have 3 data types. The measures, those are the numbers we can perform calculations. The dimensions, those are qualitative columns that we can group our data by. Think of them as string fields, but we can do groupings with these string fields. We cannot perform calculations with our dimensions. And the date types, okay? And what we are seeing right here, we have these blues right here. This blue is our dimensions. Apologize, our measures, the blues. So we have in this pyramid chart, we can only have 2 different measures. We can have groupings as well in our bars. Let's group it. For example, let's select account name. Now we have our accounts, the sum of amount on the left and the total count of opportunities on the right for each one of our accounts. As you can see, this is ordered alphabetically because we haven't applied any order. We can apply our order here if we click at this drop-down arrow and sort descending, but this will make the sum of amount the descending order. If we change to count of rows, now we will make the count of rows the descending order. We can make a custom order by selecting the saql editor mode. I'm going to talk about that later, but we can create different and complex orders and groupings and queries by using our saql editor mode, okay? And I just show you what a grouping is. A grouping is what you slice your data by. Do you remember Salesforce default reports? Not the dashboards, the reports where you group your lines by some of your data in the Salesforce default reports. This is basically the same concepts. We are grouping our rows by some data, and we can group by account name, by account owner. Let's group by account owner. We only have River BI team and myself as that's one difference, key difference about CRM analytics and the Salesforce default reports. Do you remember that Salesforce, when you group your data, if you have null values, the null value will be displayed as a single dash in the screen. You can group by null values in Salesforce default reports. In Tableau CRM or CRM analytics, you cannot by default. You have to enable an option to group by null values in the analytics settings of your setup, analytics setup in the setup, okay? So remember, you will not be able to group by null values here in CRM analytics by default, okay? Remember this tip. This may be your exam question if you try this Tableau CRM and consultant exam, okay? And this is all the different chart types over here at the right that you can create. You can create a line chart. You can create a combo chart. A combo chart basically is a chart that combines bars and lines. And you can see or create parallel line charts. Metric radar, I simply love this chart. This is the chart that I used to build a Street Fighter dashboard. I'm going to show you guys again later. And we are seeing here one grouping in our combo chart and 3 measures, okay? 3 measures. But what if I want to see only 2 measures? We can click here or delete your measure or click hide. If you click hide, it won't be displayed in your visualization. Philip, why would I hide it and not delete it? Because sometimes you are performing calculations on this field that you are hiding, and this calculations is going to be used in your result over here in your metrics that you are displaying here in the chart. But you don't want to display this field of origin. You just want to display the calculations. One example of that, let me show you guys. I'm going to get back and create a new query from the start. For example, I want to know my win rate of opportunities. I will by account. Not by account. Let's create our win rate of my opportunities for all my opportunities. So I will get the count of rows of all my opportunities over here. This is the compare table mode. I just showed you. We were at the chart mode, and we were going to change here to the compare table mode, where you can perform advanced calculations. Okay. I will leave. How do you define your win rate? Is basically the sum, the total count of my won opportunities divided by the total number of opportunities, right? So we have here our total number of opportunities. How do we add the number of won opportunities? Well, we will add here another count of rows. We have now 2 columns, but in this column, I will apply a filter, add a filter, and the stage name, opportunity stage, it will be equals to closed one. Oh, sorry, closed one over here. Those are my closed one opportunities. Okay, now we have both of our numbers, but I want the win rate. So I need to divide this by this, correct? How do we do that? We click here at plus, and as you can see, we have our several different formulas here to use, and we have this add formula over here, where we will create a new column to create this calculation, where we can calculate B divided by A and apply 0.41. Philip, I want this displayed in percentage. Let's change it to percent. My win rate is 41%. Let's label my column, win rate, apply it, close. Now, let's hide. If I delete these 2 fields over here, I will mess up my calculation, right? This is why I don't delete these fields. And you can display the win rate. And if I add a grouping, let's see my win rate by account. Now we have our win rate by accounts. Some of them have all opportunity won, some of them have none, some of them has 50% of opportunities won. And these are the numbers that interest me the most. So let's add this chart up. Let's get our highest win rates above and the lowest below. This is how we create a win rate chart. Let's create now a chart to display here. I want to see the sum of won opportunities, sum of won opportunities by accounts, ordered from the highest to the lowest amount. So I group my bars by account name, and I want the sum of amount, right? And I want from the highest to the lowest. But we are seeing the total number of opportunity amount, not just the ones. I only want the won opportunities. So I need to apply a filter over here at my chart and search for stage name equals to closed one and apply it. Okay. I will label my query over here just for labeling. Click done. And now we have our chart over here. Let's check this chart properties. It's a little bit strange. First of all, I will change. I notice that I'm clicking here at the container, right? Widget style. I will change my the background color of my container to this dark blue because I liked it. And I'm going to change my chart. Now I'm clicking on my chart, the theme to dark. Oh, Phil, but this is really bad. I cannot see anymore the labels and anything else, because if you change the dark theme, everything gets messed up. If I change to light, it gets back on. But if I change to dark, I can do this. I can change the widget style to background color, custom, and make it transparent. Do you see? You can even add a transparency for your widget color based on your on the background. Imagine that we inserted an image here at this background container. Since this chart is transparent, the image would be displayed here behind the chart. I built this in the Street Fighter dashboard that I'm going to show you at the end. So I'm just showing how I use the dashboard different attributes, so you can create better design for your dashboards, right? And let's change all this chart useless info. I know that I can see that this is the sum of amount. So you guys think we really need this legend over here to be displayed? Because I'm seeing that this is the amount, this is a dollar sign, and we have money. Okay, so we know we are talking about amount, so we don't need the legend. We click here at the chart, scroll down to the legend part. I don't want to show my legend. I don't want a legend because I know we were talking about amount. Let's keep it clearer, right? Also, I know that this is account names. I don't want this to be labeled right here, account name. Can I remove this label? Yes, I can. I click at bar chart. Oh, sorry. Y-axis. I remove show title. If I remove show axis, I will remove the account labels at all, and will be displayed only the. What's the problem of that, Philip? Well, we cannot see the accounts themselves. But if we hover the bars, you will see the account names regardless. For some people, it's best this way. They prefer to hover to focus on the highest, remove the names, and just leave the tooltip. This is called the tooltip that is being displayed for you with the name of the account. And some people like me prefer the axis to be displayed. Okay. Philip, I want to label a title here for my widget. Let's label it ops. Yes, one ops. Here's my title. We can change the font size of our title or leave it. And you can even add a subtitle. For example, let's remove this by account and display it by account. Here at the subtitle. Okay. And you can change the text align. Sure.
Philip, can you show if it's possible to show just the top 5, top 10, something like that?
Sure. Let's do this right now.
Please.
Show widget actions. I'm just let me remove this last stuff. Since I'm seeing one up, let me add this dollar sign. And we know that we are talking about amount because of the dollar sign. Let's remove then the show title from my x-axis. If I leave the title, it will display the sum of amount in descending order. But if I remove it, I won't see anymore. And if I remove the axis itself, I won't even see my scale. I remove my scale. Okay. You can even use the logarithm scale if you want. This is just for better visualization, okay, guys? You don't have to worry about memorizing all this kind of stuff, okay? And as the guy suggested, let's see how I want to see only my top 5 accounts. Philip, how do you do this? Do you see here query limit? We can edit and limit the number of groupings. Here is, if we don't have any groupings, you are limiting the number of rows you are displaying. But since we have a grouping, the account name, it will limit to display only the 5 greatest. Why the 5 greatest? Because I am ordering from the highest to the lowest. If I change my order, it will display the 5 lowest, from the lowest to the highest. Okay, so since I'm ordering from in the descending order and limiting it to 5, it's displaying only my top 5. Okay, this is how you get only the top 5 accounts. Okay, let's add now a table displaying some of my opportunity data. Now I will select a values table. And a value table is basically a tabular report of Salesforce. You just bring the fields that you want in the order that you want. I want my amount, opportunity name, what? Let's bring account name as well. Account name I want, and I want to be account name to be the first field. Let's drag it over here. Account name, and then opportunity name, and then the owner. That's usually the order I pick. Okay. You guys can pick the order, whichever order you prefer. Okay. You can even format your columns or your numbers, but let's leave the way it is, okay? Now we have our table right here. And like the chart, you can change the table theme to match the one on the background, okay? Something like that. You can change the spacing of your cells, or you can fit your data, or fit the width, or fit the widget length, you know. But sometimes it's best to leave the fit to data options, because as you can see, you can even scroll vertically and horizontally. In this case, I will leave the fit to widget. The preview mode of the dashboard, as you can see. Why I get a table for us, guys? So you guys can see this. What I'm going to show you guys right now is the behavior that we call fasting. If I come here at this bar chart and click on the bar, it will filter my table to bring only my United Oil, Gas, and Corp opportunities. This is the behavior that is called fasting. Fasting is the ability to change other widgets by filtering these ones right here. Okay, this happens by default when you're using the same data set. When you're using different data sets, this doesn't happen by default. Let me show you what I mean by that. I will delete this table, and now I will bring a different data set. Let's bring my accounts. And let's bring account data. I'm not bringing my opportunity data anymore. I'm bringing now account data. Which fields I'm going to bring? Let me bring the account name, source, account type, if it's active, and the billing country. That's it. That's what I want for my accounts. Okay. Just for the showing purposes. And this is my table. I'm not going to show the background. You guys already know how to build this, how to change the background. I'm just fit to the widgets. But if I click now in my bar, it's not filtering my table anymore. Why? Why it's not filtering my table anymore? Because we are using different data sets, guys. And if you use different data sets to build this interactivity between these two widgets, you need to create a connection between the data sets. How do you do this, Phillip? We click here at the Connect Data Sources panel. Now let's get a connection. Let's get my account name. I'm labeling here my connection. And I'm using two different data sets, the opportunity and the account. The opportunity, what will be? It will be account name. Always pick the value that you're using for your groupings, okay, guys? You need to bring a connection with different data sets for all data sets that you're using, for all groupings that we are using. Here, we are just using the opportunity account. But I'll show that later, that you can change the grouping using something called interactions. And it's what we are going to do next. And now we are going to select from my other account data set name, the account name. And I'm going to save it. Now my connection is built. The name for my opportunity, the field for my opportunity data set is the account name, the field that we are using to group the data over here. And the field for my account data set will be the name. Those fields are connected. Okay, now that they are connected, if I click here at the United Oil, I will filter my different data set query. Okay, that's how you build connections and interactivity between two different data sets. The facing, this is the same thing that we built with the other table, but the other table was from the same data set. That's why you didn't need to build any connections at all. This happened by default from queries for the same data set. But if you're using different data sets, they must have at least the same field for you to create this connection. Otherwise, you won't be able to face it your selections to different data sets. This is one form of making our dashboard dynamic, but let's now see something that I like to do a lot, that's called interactions. Interactions formerly known as bindings, guys. If you always hear the term binding or interactions, you are talking about the same thing, okay? Binding is a toggle or something like, it can be anything. It can be any query actually, but is basically some way to create a connectivity between two queries to make them dynamic. And it's not a disconnection over here. I'm talking about, for example, I'm seeing here my own opportunities by account, but I wanted to create a dropdown to change this to display by account on owner or by, I don't know, opportunity type. How do I build this? Well, I click here on edit mode. I click here and I'm going to change the data source because we are going to use a static step for this list, okay? Create custom query. This is a static step. The display is what's going to be displayed in my dropdown. For example, this is a list widget that we dragged, right? Let's label it account. And let's change to owner. And let's change it also to account industry. I love to grab by industry as well. Here at add column, I need to add the API of the field that we're going to change our grouping. What do I mean by that, Phillip? Do you remember that our columns have the labels and the API names? I need to grab the API names for the columns I want to change this bar chart over here. What's in the opportunities data set, the account field is called account.name. The owner field is called owner.name. And the account industry is called account.industry. I know this because I have worked a lot with these data sets, guys. So I memorized the name of the fields. But feel free. I'm going to create this query and show you where you can check the name of the fields. This query. This is a list. And how do I see the name of the fields? You can click here, show fields panel. This is all the fields from your data set, guys. Industry, the industry, what's the name of the API? The API is account.industry, as you can see, right? Lead source, what's the API name? Lead source. Map This is a custom field I created. Don't bother with the opportunity name. The API name is just name. Okay. This is where you can check for the API name of your fields inside your data set. And the interactions need to be with the API field, not the label. Okay. Okay. Now we have our account, our owner, and account industry. We can select. But Philip, I want to make this chart dynamic to change this. Okay. Let's create our first interactions together. We click here at the query where we want to apply the interactions and click it advanced editor over here. That's the advanced editor. Here is the JSON for our widget and for our query. Do you see here the part groups? That's the grouping. That's where we want to make it dynamic. We want to change from an account name to account to opportunity owner to account industry, right? Do you remember? So we are going to make this dynamic. We have to replace this over here. We are going to click it our list query, the static step we just created. Choose the data. There are 3 types of the data selections. We can select by row, by column, and by cell. I will select by cell right now, and I will explain later the column and the row. Okay. The row index. Usually, I always get the 0, but you can get the other ones. Why I get the 0? Because since you are selecting basically the first value to change, it will. How do I explain this? Let me cancel and just to show you the rest, because this is an important concept and in concept you guys need to understand. If I select 0, the thing that I will select the, for example, I click on account, the 0 will display account name. If I click in owner, the 0 will display owner.name. But if I click 1 or 2 or etc., it will display the next value. For example, I click in account, it will display owner.name. That's not what I want. I want the same row. That's why I used 0 at the cell. Okay. Getting back to my advanced editor, query, select query, list query, choose data, cell 0. And I want to select what? The display or the API name. My API name is on my text field. Remember, you can see down here the result. The result is account.name. That's what I want. It's the same one right here. Okay. But there are 2 types of interactions, guys, and you need to memorize this because this is a question that will be asked for you in your certification in Tableau CRM. Okay. Basically, 2 types of interactions: result and selections. Okay. If you get result, you get the result for the first row in your origin query, the first row of this list query. Okay. But we don't want result. We want the selection because we want to, when we click at the account name, it displays the account. When we click in the account.owner, in the opportunity owner, it displays the owner name. Okay. We want to make this selectable, not get a result of a query, right? So we change to the selection type of binding. 2 types of binding. Memorize this. We have a selection and a result. Okay. This is a selection type. And the data serialization will be as string. Let's copy right here, this interaction right here, and replace here and paste it and save it. Oh no, Philip, you broke the query. What have you done? What have you done? My God. Oh no. Let's click here to see our error. No identifier. What does this mean? Since, do you see that I'm not selecting any values here? If I'm not selecting any values, since it's a selection binding, the result of this selection will be null. I'll take the opportunity to display it for you at this dashboard inspector. This is a very cool feature for you to check the queries for debugging and for dashboard performance. As you can see the time of the query the query takes to run over here. Okay, let's click on this query and see what the error. group by no. There's no field called no. This is why it's resulting in an error. And there's no field in my opportunities data set called no. This is why it is resulting in an error. Philip, how do you solve this? Well, I click here and my selection. This, since there is always a value that needs to be selected for this to work, I click here at the display, query, single selection, required. Now a value will always be selected right here. It cannot be left in blank. A value always needs to be selected, okay? That's what this does. Single selection required. And if I change to owner, oh no, you broke the chart again. It's a different error. Let's see what the error means. This widget reference a field that isn't available. Insert please fix or delete the widget column map section. This error shows me how to fix it. I need to delete the column map section. So I click here at edit, click here at this query, at advanced editor. Let's search on the widget panel for column map. Oh, that's the column map section. Let's delete it as they requested. I will erase it and replace by no. Save. Now let's see if this works. Oh, it's changed to my owners. Now it's changed to account industry. Let's see if this filters the table. Well, it's not filtering. Why is not filtering? Because we haven't created the connections, guys. Do we remember? We only create the connection for account names. We haven't created the connections for account owner, for opportunity owner, sorry, and for account industry. We haven't created those connections. This is why it won't work. Okay, as you can see. Now, and if I want to edit this query, let's suppose you want to change the color of the chart, etc. Can I do it? No, you can't. Once you change and insert a binding in your query, guys, you cannot edit anymore at the user interface. You can only edit at the JSON level, okay? So to edit this again, we will have to or remove the interaction right here. We can label it again. Right. Save it. And then we can edit again. I have erased my interaction, or edit it via the advanced editor mode in the JSON. Okay, you can edit all these values right here directly. Okay, if you want to change the color chart, you can select here at conditional formatting, select measures. I want just the sum of amount to be, I don't know, blue or red. And you can even apply conditional formattings for, I don't know, let's change account name. I want my account names to be one of different colors. Or I want to be the sum of amount to be a gradient. For example, the lowest will be red and the highest will be green. Got it? You can do these kinds of stuff in charts and tables here in Tableau CRM. Whoa, the time flies. As you can see, we have lots of information with I have deleted the interaction, but it's okay. We have two main charts over here at my dashboard, but these charts displayed lots of information. I have my 5 top accounts by account, now by owner, now by account industry. And I can, in a single chart, I can see lots of information, different information, you know. This is why you don't have to build several different numbers and display several different charts everywhere in one big chart with cool interactions and great created in a, how can you say, in a good context. Will save you maybe 5 or 6 different widgets. You know, you don't have to create 5 different charts. Some people want to see side by side the account, the account owner, the account name, the order from the highest to the lowest. You know, in these cases and situations, you can leave 3 different charts, but this this interaction type saves lot of space in your dashboard. The last but not least, guys, I'd like to show you about the saql editor mode of our query, and we will create an advanced saql query using 2 different data sets. Okay, what's the saql editor mode? The saql editor mode over here is where you're going to edit your query by using the saql language that I mentioned. This is saql. Load opportunity, group by. This is the grouping. This is the projection. This for each part is the projection. And this is the limit. Okay. We are going to create together very quickly. How do you compare cases and our opportunities by account? We have both cases and accounts have both cases and opportunities are linked to account. One case has an account and opportunity has account, but cases and opportunities doesn't have a relationship on their own. How do we create this relationship? We will use the account, but we will need 2 different data sets, the case data sets and the account data sets. Let's build this dashboard together. Let's create a query if the case is just so the dashboard doesn't error. Now let's get our cases data set. We have our cases right here. And we're going to go to the advanced editor mode, load case. This is the same thing, right? We're going to group it by name. And for each, we're going to generate count and count as count. I have run. Now it's the same thing that I did with the compare table, but here the saql. But there's a catch here at the saql editor mode. If I click back here at chart mode right now, I cannot change, I cannot add groupings anymore. I cannot reverse the order. I cannot do anything anymore. I can only hide my groupings and etc. and stuff, but I cannot add or remove groupings or filters or etc. Once, memorize these, guys. Once you change things and run the query here at the saql editor mode, you cannot change it back to a normal query. It will always be a saql query mode, and all the changes from now on will have to be done here at the saql editor. Okay, memorize this. Let's create a query to calculate the counts of opportunities and cases by my accounts. Okay, in a stacked bar. Let's see. Well, I am creating columns right here. I am grouping by my account name column, and I'm generating my account column with the count of rows. We have account name column and a count of rows. Let's segment them as cases. No, it's grouping. I have created a text of cases in a new column called grouping. I can do this. I can do this, and I can do this for numbers as well. I can project also, for example, 3s 3. My column is called now 3 with the value of 3s. Okay. Please notice that the fields, the columns will be labeled always with single quotes. This makes a difference here as saqls. Single quotes, we're talking about columns. Double quotes, you are talking about strings. Okay. Okay. Now let's load in a different variable. Q1 equals load. I have forgot the name of. Give me a second. I have forgot the name of the dataset API. The dataset API is opportunity. Okay. Let's get back to cases. Create my original query. Let's run it now. Q1 load opportunity. Q1, let's also group. It needs to be the same grouping. Group Q1 by account.name. And Q1, let's generate the same thing right here. Account name, account, and but we will change the cases to opportunities. Let's group. If I run, it will run account name countess. Oh, I forgot the for the the for each Q generate. Saql is very picky with a syntax. Okay, guys. So every time you messed up the syntax, you will receive an error like this. So now I am projecting my opportunities. Do you see? It doesn't project my variable key anymore, just Q1. Now we are going to union, we're going to append this data together and group them by account name and then by this new column. Okay, let's label it Z. Union is the append Q1. Z. When you're grouping by more than one field, guys, you need to insert a parenthesis and separate your groupings by comma. That grouping field is the field that we generated here for the same. If we run the query, we won't see anything. Why are you not seeing anything? Oh my God, because we haven't projected anything. We just grouped, but we haven't projected. Now let's project Z for each. Generate. Name. Oops. And some of count. We have several accounts that only have opportunities. Actually, let's get only the accounts that have opportunity, because as you can see, there are accounts with cases and opportunities, but there are accounts with only opportunities. So let's get the accounts that we only have cases and opportunities, right? Z equals order Z by. First, we will order them. Then count. Descending, we're getting the sum, the highest count first and the lowest count later. Okay. That's why I get this. And if I get to my chart, I will see, as you can see, I have one account with two different bars. But can I stack them one another? If I change my chart to stacked bar chart, now I will see my accounts and cases stacked one another. Got it? So what did we do here? We get two different data sets, one of cases of information and one with opportunity information, group them by account, and get the count of different different variables and combine them in a singular view. So now we are seeing two different informations by account, two different information that we don't have in one data set or another. We don't have this information in any data sets, but by combining two different data sets, we can get this information by account in a singular visualization right here. Okay. This is very powerful, guys. Very, very, very powerful. And this is the saql editor mode. And when it's saved, as you can see, it's saved as a multiple data sets query. It's not an opportunity data set or cases or account. It's a multiple data sets query. And it's shown right here. And of course, you can change all the parameters, the legend, etc., etc. You can change these labels, etc., etc. for all these charts informations and parameters, the legend, the x-axis, the y-axis, and etc. You can do all this kind of stuff, and of course display a title for it. Okay, this is a simple dashboard, but as you can see, it has lots and lots of information, guys. So the main point that I'm trying to pass here is how to create queries, how to create interactions to save your dashboard spaces. And let's show the dashboard inspector over here. This is the time that each query are taking to run. This is what you look for when you're looking for the dashboard performance, right? Check this data over here, okay? And last but not least, what I wanted to show you, because I know that the time is short, sorry. I always like to talk a lot about CRM analytics. What's the opportunity? I want to show you guys. I don't remember if it was me who created the. No, it wasn't me. Opportunities. I want to show the security predicates of the data set. The security predicates is a row level security that you can apply to restrict the visualization of rows in the data set, guys. For example, let me open here. Which data set has? Let's see if the cases has. Or the accounts, I know that it has cases. Let's see this one. Oh, but I don't want to open. I want to click here, edit. No security predicates. Let's open the account. Account data sets. It's on the managers app.
Hi, Philip. Sorry to interrupt. Thank you for your presentation. I have a question. Can you show the pivot table, how to do it in the pivot tables, and how to arrange, show the opportunity stages? Because whenever we use the stages by grouping, it, the ascending order, descending order, it just take it by the letter,
alphabetical
right?
order, right?
Yeah, alphabetical order. But if we want to change it by the way we want, how do we do it?
Okay, let me show you this really quickly.
Sure, thank you.
Group by stage name. The pivot table, you can insert groupings at row level and for example, let's change this grouping to name, opportunity name, and get this by stage name. As you can see, we have opportunities and the stage name of them and the count of rows, which opportunities are in which stages, right? It's not the best visualization, but it's just to show you guys. But as you can see, it's displaying in alphabetical order. Not in the first stage was supposed to be prospecting, and then qualification, and then value proposition, and then whatever. And closed won and closed lost was supposed to be the last ones, right? Why does this happen? This happens because we bring these fields as a string field into the data, and Tableau CRM doesn't know the order. So we have to create an order for these fields. How do we do this? We can do this by different, first of all, I prefer to do this into the data flow than in the query itself. I will show you why right now. This is the accounts. Let's get back to opportunities. I will show you how to do this stage name. As you can see, is ordered from alphabetical order. How do you change this? We will have to create a formula field. I usually would do this by saql. Okay, I wouldn't do this the way I'm doing right now, but I have to use the case statement. The case is case when stage name. What's the first stage? First stage, let's suppose it is
Proposal.
Qualification.
Proposal.
qualification, prospecting, then one dot prospecting. When stage name equals to, then I'm going to copy this stage name equals to now qualification. Oops. Then to qualification. And so on. When stage name equals perception analysis, one stage, and you have to create your own order for this pick list value and then group by it. Else other. What am I missing? I haven't applied a condition for this last one. Let me do this at the saql editor directly so you guys can see. Stage name, remove here, and I will add create case when stage name equals prospecting, then one. Oops, that's the error. When stage name equals qualification, then two qualification, else order, and s stage order. Run query. So what's the equals prospecting, then qualification, then two qualification, else what? That's the error right here. They changed the variable. This is why. Okay,
It says 2 colons. Is it after token, then 2 colons, selecting 1 dash prospect?
Let me see there. Let's run the query. Okay, no errors then. Now let's rewrite it. Case when equals 1 equals 5. Let's change the value. And so on. Else order stage order. You see now we have our stage order, and I messed up the value because I have to write exactly the same way is on the it's on the pick list field, right? Oh, there it is, value proposition. I will have to do this for every single field, every single value in my pick list value, and then I have this field over here. Now I have to regroup for this new field. Q equals group Q by stage order. Now I have to use this new field for my new grouping and generate again all this statement over here, but now I'm going to order my stage order as stage name. Okay. The problem is
the colon on the end of the B.
and I have to sum also my variables, because their variables were previously projected. There it is. We have the 90 opportunities, one value, two value proposition, and all other values will be displayed into this order right here that you are seeing. Okay, so this is why what you have to do to create you have to create basically your own order of your of the data set string values. Okay, because the dimensions will always be displayed into alphabetical order. You cannot change this. To change this, we have to create a field, or here at the query itself, as you saw I'm doing, or at the data flow. Do you remember the compute expression or the recipe, the compute node formula? You can create there. What's the difference, Philip? If you create there, this case statement formula is a very heavy formula for dashboard performance. If you use lots of case statement formulas in your dashboard queries, the dashboard performance will be impacted. But if you create using your case statement formulas in the data flow, the field will come ready to your data set, and the dashboard performance will be enhanced because it doesn't have to create the calculations on the run. The field is already calculated on the data flow or the recipe. Okay, this is why I always prefer to calculate my fields into the data flows or recipes. This is not always possible. For example, the combined data set query that we built together with data from different data sets is not possible to build into the recipe. You have to build this query inside the dashboard itself. But these single fields calculations to create a new column, you can create them at the data flow. So always taking this in consideration when you use the case statement formula to create your fields orders or any other field. This works with the different fields. You can create new columns. You can create comparisons, for example, case when stage name is equal prospecting, multiply my my amount by the sum of average. You can create whichever formula you prefer using this. Okay. And
thank you very much, Philip, for explaining this.
No problem. I think I overpassed my time by a lot, and I apologize for that, guys, because as you can see, there's a lot of topics to talk about. But if you have any questions, I will gladly answer them, and feel free to ask. I know this is a lot of information to cover, and it's a dense topic, and I covered about half of it, you know. But the key concepts I'd like you guys to memorize is build dashboards using the templates. Think about less is more. Think about designing dashboards that leverage questions to the users who see it, to their managers, you know. And you can make your dashboard very dynamic by using interactions, two types of interactions, selections and results. Okay.
So one more question, Philip, sorry. Actually, there is previous value and how to compare that previous value with the time change from the last modified date
Excellent
to the
question.
current date.
Excellent question. How do you do this? You to compare the previous value, you have to use it's a complex requirement, but first of all, you need to have enabled for your field or for your whichever you are tracking, the field history tracking. You need to have this enabled. Why? Because this is what tracks your field changes over time. Okay. And if you have this enabled, you can load this, for example, you have the opportunity history data, you have account history data, whichever object it is, you can sync this object using the data flow, and then using a compute relative formula, that's a field that the compute relative calculates fields between different rows, okay? Use different rows. So you can compare the different rows for that particular field. This field was in this date. The opportunity stage in this date was prospecting, and on this other date was changed to value proposition. This next row will be value proposition. So this type of formula can get this value and paste this as a different column called previous value. So you can compare if the same value from my row right now is equals to my previous value of this opportunity, or no, to understand if you are if this opportunity stage has or has not been changed. Okay, it's a very good question, and it's if you guys want to study it, create your CRM analytics org and run the sales analytics app, okay? If you run this app, it will generate a data flow by default. And in this data flow, they do exact this transformation you ask. The data set generated is called pipeline trending, okay? Check for this data set, the pipeline trending in the same sales analytics app.
Sure. Thank you, Philip. Thank you very much for explaining.
No problem.
Okay, excellent. That was a great session. Philip really got good remarks in the chat too. Yeah, hope it helps everyone. Our next part of the session was, so we have covered Q&A side by side, that's great. And we just wanted to run a poll so we could get to know also about the audience. So let's just run I'm launching the poll. Please be ready to participate for that.
I know that you guys may have several questions. Feel free to ask me at LinkedIn. I'm pasting my LinkedIn profile in the chat. Feel free to add me and ask anything that you like, okay? It's a very dense topic, guys, and there's a much more to cover about it, okay? I have covered just I don't know, 10%.
All right, I have about 20 votes, 5 more people I'm waiting for, but looks like most of us are done, so I'm just ending it. I'm ending the poll and I'm sharing the results. So you see mostly from India, and Bay Area and USA is at par, Brazil and other is at par. So that's it. And also we got the result for administrators being 47%, developers 41%, consultants 41%, and other as 6%. Great. Thanks for participating, everyone. I'll just oh, okay. You all can see the results, right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I'll just close this now. Right, and so the next part of our presentation is from Dipti. Dipti, would you like to introduce yourself and take it away for your presentation?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. And after this very insightful technical session, I would say that audiences are really awesome because as per scientific reason, we as a human being, we can concentrate up to 40 and 45 minutes. If you concentrate more than that, that means you are really keen to learn. So I am really thankful still you guys all are here and ready to attend the session. So thanks Shiva for inviting me. Let me introduce by myself Dipti Kalaria. I am working as a application architect, having 12 years of experience. My expertise in lead to revenue, which is also known as a code to cash, and contract management, that are my expert areas. About my personal journey in Salesforce, it started around 2009 when I finished my bachelor. I started my journey with professor, but that didn't excite me much. So I quit that job and started working as a mm, cloud computing master's course. And in that course, after finishing that course, I joined the company, which is very well known SaaS company that's called Konga. And from there, my journey starts. And about myself, I belongs to the India. In India, the western part of India, which is a state called Gujarat, and in which is the same state from India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi belongs to. And this is all about me. Now let me start about our topic. So our topic is the flow. So before starting my presentation, I would prefer that from the audience, if there are the three persons who would like to share their knowledge and their understanding about flow, which helps me to understand what exactly the people would like to know about the flow. Any volunteers?
So for me, I have my understanding of flows is that they're well, programming in general is an if-then conditional type situation. So flows are a visual and declarative way for you to express code. It's not obviously as like object-oriented, right, as well, but it allows you to do a lot of that through clicks and not having to memorize how to write a function.
Yeah, up to like 99.99% it's true. All your understanding is exactly aligned. Anyone else?
Yeah, in my understanding now, flows are the uh, uh, very advanced automation tool in Salesforce, and we have the workflow rules and process builders as well. But in future, we are not able to create new flow rules or process builders, so we have to go with flows. That will be the only automation tool in Salesforce in future. Then whatever we can do from our flow rules and process builders, we can do using flows. And in flows, we have like 5 types of flows. And then we can do much more things with using flows. That is my understanding.
Wow, it's awesome. You covered very nicely and properly organized way. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's exactly
Thank you.
the flow. Yeah, true. Anyone else? One more.
Hi there, this is Devki from Atlanta. So I created my first flow 2 weeks back. So I'm pretty excited about it as it is the new way to go for automation. And I'm hoping I would get a lot of opportunity to convert the existing process builders and workflows into flow very shortly. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the flow today and get a little bit more in depth. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, really nice. Like I'm happy that people knows about the flow and exactly what is the reason to learn about the flow. That's great. I say 3, but if anyone else interested, I'm happy to answer, add that more values about it.
Hi Dipti, it's Divya.
Hi.
Flows, if we want to use like before insert, after insert, before update, after update, we can't do that by using workflows and process builder. We can do by using flows and coding. Yeah, that's what my understanding. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, very much information like audience have. I didn't expect this much information because I thought it's a very fresh topic, but this all information which Divya shared and Devki shared, which is and Anna shared, these are the very latest Salesforce release update before save and auto launch flow with record triggered, which is really recent. And if audience are aware about it, it's really nice. So in today's session, I would prefer to go with the basics of flow. And when we go as a flow to handle as an admin, at that time, what are the criteria that we keep in mind? Because flow is a interface between the developers and admins. This is the purpose for the of a Salesforce, that they want to enable the admin people as much as a developer. And that's the reason they introduce a flow. So that's a crux of the flow, and let's get started. As in when presentation goes, I will add more things in that. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Is my screen visible for all of you?
Yes, see, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet, but
Not
I'm
yet.
seeing your mouse. I'm seeing your mouse.
Yeah, we think almost there. Yeah. Now it's visible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is the topic: step-by-step resolution solution for the flow. Let's start it with the agenda. So agenda for presentation is, first I will walk you through the 5 reasons why we have to choose automation using a flow. Second is how to choose the right automation tool, because Salesforce have a multiple tools available within their implementation items. So how to choose which is the right one. Third one is guideline for the flow implementation. This is more important because as if we are going to make a pizza, then what we is the ingredients. That is our understanding that ingredients and how to use that. That is our main guideline. So similarly for the flow, guideline is required. Fourth one is scenarios. I will take one scenario in a business world, and in that way we understand how that business requirement we will convert into the technical requirement, and then technical requirement into the developer requirement. These are the 3 main pillar things which is going to be required to understand. Fourth one, the live demo. In my environment, the flow is ready. I will walk you through the how I build it and what are the steps that to build it. Last, best practices. What should be considered in your mind when you implement a flow? That's it. Okay, let's get started with the first point. 5 reasons to do the automation using a flow. Feel free to stop me anywhere, and if you have any question, just ask me. And see, by help me if there are any question, I can stop it and address at the same time.
Yes, sure. I will do that. Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, first reason is it's a declarative tool. So there is no code. And as Salesforce supports and Salesforce recommended that we should go with the low code or no code. And this is the right tool for supporting the Salesforce best practices. Again, it's a declarative tool. So people who are new to the system, admin or consultant or architect, which are the people who prefer to use this tool because there is no maintenance, low maintenance, as well as no requirement as in deployment, maintenance, stays class. This is, we can get rid out of this when we have a flow. Second one, it supports the update when we change the record. Suppose an account, I would like to change the account number. If I change that account number using a flow, and within the flow using the before save flow, it do the 10 times faster rather than my trigger and any other automation. So performance improvement, which is really great thing. Salesforce, in that case, performance matters because we are on a cloud. That's way it's much important. Third one is the configure get record elements without selecting the fields. So for example, I would like to perform the operation on contact and would like to update multiple fields of a contact. But if I go through the Apex coding, I need to select the fields which I would like to perform operations. Here in the flow, there is no requirement to select the fields. You can select it, it's okay. Not select it, that's also fine. So there's a flexibility to do your work without restriction. Fourth one is the configuring actions and create record elements without creating the variables. This is a very simple word, that without creating the variable, you can perform the actions and record actions and all. But if you think about the system which stores the actual your data, which consumes some memory, then in that case, if there is no variable, it gives you the faster performance. It gives you the very faster results, and storage of a memory is also less occupied. So that's a way, performance wise, we have, this is the best things to address. And fifth one is we can go up to the 10 level of the relationship. Suppose I am in a account, I am an opportunity, then I go to the contact and contact to account. Similar way, I can go up to the 10 level from my current original level from flow started. So these are the key 5 primary reasons where I supports that flow is the right automation tool. Okay, now let's go to the next. How to choose the right automation tool? This is the Salesforce suggested process, that we have multiple things in a epics, approvals, platform events, backend processes, but which is the right tool to do the operations? So for that, this is the kind of visual representation I address to handle all the type of requirement. So first here, that automate the behind the scenes process. That means something happens on one record and I would like to trigger the another operations or process in my backend. That's called automation. Automation behind the scenes. Here in that scenarios, there are the 3 things we have in a system, that flow, process builder, and Apex. But Salesforce recommended that if possible, go with a flow. Second one is guided visual representations. So here, earlier we have only one option, that Visualforce page. We need to build the page and prepare the forms and then go for the forms and Apex coding and go it. Then we have an advanced version available, Lightning Web Component. And right now the flow also supports all screen level navigations. Benefit is flow is a very handy, supports mostly the operations. So don't go for the VF page, it's absolute set. Lightning Web Components require knowledge of a development, JavaScript and all that. So it's again expensive, but flow compared to that, very easy and very less maintenance. Third one is a platform event, which is when you are architect and when you have a lots of integration in your system, you always have a requirement of platform events or change data capture. In that case, flow also supports that also. So go with the flow. Then fourth one is approval. Salesforce recommended that approval is always go by the approval automation tool. Flow have a recently launched feature, that flow orchestrations, which also support the similar things of approval, but it's still not as mature as approval. So recommendation is just go with approvals. That's a Salesforce suggested and proven by the system, that what should do when you have a requirement. Any question here? Okay, I take it no. No, thank you. Now, guideline. As I told you, we must know what are the things that we need to add when we are making a pizza. So these are the guidelines when we know, when we do the flow. Okay, first one. Flow triggers the order value before save and after save flow on object, but trigger orders value always respect the order of execution. So here, let me give example. Suppose there are the 5 flows on one object. On opportunity, suppose we have 5 flows. 2 flows are for the before insert and 3 flows are on the after insert, after save, before save and after save. But by mistake, I had given the order of execution. So by the way, order of execution is one of the field on a flow where you can give the number, and based on that number, execution of flow will be work. So this is my before flow and this 3 is my after flow. But by mistake, I had given a number 1, 2, 3 in after flows, and before flow I had given a 4 and 5. in that case, Salesforce flow is such an intelligent, it will not pick this, it will not fix this 3, though it have a 3, 4, and 5, so though it have a 1, 2, and 3, because it's after say flow. It will pick this first and give a number in ascending order and run it. That means numbers we had given, that is matter, but that will not overlap the execution rules of a Salesforce. So before save is always work before save, after save is always work after save. Second one, flow have a capacity to prepare the flow orders, flow with the orders of 1 to 2000. That number of flows possible on a single object. That's a Salesforce limit. So in that case, flows have priorities, how to execute. If these are the number series, there is possibility to execute. So for example, in a company, we have a process to prepare the flow, but earlier we didn't use the order of execution, but now we started using the order of execution. That means in my current system, there are the few flows without order numbers, and there are the few flows with orders. So in that case, how Salesforce handle this situation? So Salesforce handles the situation. First, it will pick all the flow from 1 to 1000 in a sequence and execute it, right? And if there are the flows available with the same number.
Dipti, your voice is gone. You muted.
Little bit. Am I clear now?
No, it was not on.
It's clear.
No, it's
I
clear
can hear
for
her.
us.
I can hear her
I
I
perfectly.
can hear.
If required, I can change my network.
I can hear you perfectly. Dipti.
No, your voice is perfect, Dipti.
Okay, fine. Thanks. Let me
Oh,
share.
yeah. Now, it's back. I don't know, from my end, maybe. Okay. Carry on, Dipti. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. I think I need to reshare.
Reshare.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. So if there are the flow availables with the same number, then how Salesforce will work? It will check the alphabetical order of the flows API's name. Suppose there are the two flow, one is start with A, another start with K. Then it start with the flows API name start with A. This is the pattern that flows run. And once 1 to 1000 run numbers are done, it will go for all the flows on the same object where there is no order of execution is mentioned. Then it will finish that all the flows where there's not order of execution mentioned, and then it will again start with the remaining numbers like 1000 to the 2000, and in ascending order it will run. And here here also that's the same condition, that if multiple flows with the same name, same number, it prefer the API names to execute. Now, fifth one is, when we have a large order of flows, what Salesforce recommends and what's the best practice ideally, we have to distribute in order. Suppose I have a five flows on opportunity, and I should not given the number as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have a given number as a 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Because in future, if I need one more flow between 10 and 20, I can give it that numbers, I create a new flow and give that numbers. If that is flexibility available, I should not have to do the rework. That's a large number of flows best practice. And very important and very good things to have with the flow. When we activate, deactivate, changing something in order of execution or changing within the flow, it won't impact anything. It won't impact any of your flows or system or any asynchronous process or any other executions. So it's a very easy to maintain and without side effect, if you say. So this way, flow is very handy, useful, but we know these are the key guideline. When we do the flow, these are the key guidelines, because I heard so many times that people have a challenge that my flow is working properly when I debug it, but when I run on a record, it didn't work exactly, because there is order of execution which you can use it. There are some other on other flows available where your record is already used by, and there is no control on order of execution. It works by the API name, which is not true. So this order of execution, you have to be careful. Okay. Any question in this guideline? Okay, I think all good. Let's go with the scenario. Okay. Let me just take a scenario, and I would prefer that audience will explain what this understanding in this business lines. Okay. Yeah. Anyone would like to explain what the mean of this business lines? Anyone would like to try?
This runs the runs the flow before the DML operation in when you click the save button. So it will perform a record updates only in this particular record, because you cannot update anything beyond it because you don't have the record ID yet. The record ID hasn't even been generated yet.
Correct. Yeah, very right, Phillips. So here, this is a scenario for before save. I mentioned here. So when we have a new opportunity is created, and in that opportunity, if the amount of opportunity is $50,000, then only we would like to send an email to my sales team that this is a very big opportunity. You can start communicating with it and close it as soon as possible. Okay, so this is business requirement. Before save, if you will not consider, then if I read this line, I should have to do something when new opportunity is created. So suppose in your terms, you get this kind of requirement, what suppose you have to do? So for a flow, I would prefer the three main things. First, define, design, and debug. These are the three pillars that we should do when we have a business requirement to handle by flow. First is define. How to define? Define with your solution design. How to do the solution design? By drawing by your hand, drawing on a paper. Prepare the flow on a paper and then try to do in your environment. Okay, so here I prepared this solution by my hand, and this is the screenshot, or you can say image of my hand drawing. And my handwriting is not such a good, but I hope you were able to get it. Is it visible properly?
Yes, Dipti, it is.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So this is my readable words or my understanding that I put on the paper, that what should the requirement in a flow. First, we start. That means when my flow starts. So my flow starts when new opportunity is created. That's entry criteria. After opportunity created, what should I need to check? Amount is greater than $50,000. Is it amount greater than $50,000? Yes, then there is next check is required. Else I just need to stop my flow like this. My flow supposed to be go back here and it's supposed to be stopped. If amount is matched, I need to check my email address. Do I have a valid email address? If yes, then I can send a mail. If no, I should have to mention somewhere in my system that because my email address is not valid, I didn't able to send the mail to my sales team. So this check is required. If amount is 50,000 and still mail is not sent, then who will be responsible? How business user get to know that does mail sent and action is not taken, or why mail is not sent? That answers we can get it in an error log. Error log is one of the architecture design that solution architect prefer to have in a system, because business user like we as architect or we as a developer or admin, we build the system, but actual users, business user, end user didn't understand all these errors and issues and all. They just understand there is something wrong happened. So where they know that there is something wrong happened, then for that we have one of the custom object in that we are dumping the errors. So if they didn't get the mail, they will go to that object and check that on Monday at 12 p.m. I created one opportunity with $50,000, but I didn't get a mail. Why? Then check the error log and they check and find that there is not valid email. Because of that, we didn't get a mail. So this is helpful for them. For that, we have the solution. Now, if I send the mail, there is something needs to be updated on my record itself. That for this record, I already sent the mail. So other person or other opportunity owner or queue will do not send the mail or do not trigger any other unnecessary actions. For that, we update one of the field and opportunity. Suppose I put one checkbox and mention that mail sent, or one drop down where mention that yes, mail is sent, or something to be flagged on opportunity. That is required. If mail is sent, but because of some other process like validation rule, trigger, or process builder or workflow rule, this operation didn't perform, that update opportunity field didn't perform, then what I should do? I should check that is operation performed. If yes, all good, we stop, our business requirement is done. If update operation not performed properly, then we need to do the error logging. For that reason that we had sent a mail, but update operation didn't perform, something is wrong happened, and some of the validation rule break or some reasons, because of that it didn't work. So this is my hand drawing understanding of business requirement. Ideally, in a right word, if I say, generally customer gives some requirement, and that requirement should be designed like this. A solution architect, technical architect should have to design the requirement like this. Then for the admin and dev people will be easily understand what should be the check required in their logic. So that's my recommendation. So anyone have any question in this flow? It's a very simple, but still if you have. Okay, all good. Let's take a ride in my org and see. This is the demo. Let's jump to the demo. Let me reshare my screen. Okay, give me a second. Is my Trailhead account is visible, guys?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet. Now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm checking that guys are attending my session or not. Yeah, okay, good. So this is the flow. Let's see. First condition, when my flow starts. So flow starts as a record trigger flow because our operation is demanding for the before insert. So flow starts when I click on edit. This is the first page I configure. On opportunity object, only when the opportunity record is created. So just I would like to add here one note. When we have same requirement on create and edit or create and update, never use the single flow for both of the requirement. Ideally, it's preferable there are the two separate flow. In one flow, we support the create, another flow, we support the update. Then it should be easy to manage. Then order of execution is easy to manage. When we have a complex process, we know which run first and which run second. So that's the reason that we suggest that then when we have a same requirement on both of the way, we should have a two different flow. So I choose here that agreement record created. What are my entry criteria is that amount is greater than $5,000. This is my entry criteria. Only this criteria, the flow will work. Salesforce given these two steps for optimizing the flow. First is, this is the fast field update that works before save. And second one is action and related record. That only works after save. This is the way we bifurcate before save and after save. Okay, this I designed as a before save. Okay. Stop me wherever you want any additional information. So I'm continuing here. Just cancel it. Now, next step. Next step is I should need to check the valid email address. This is my email address check. Sales team email. This is my one of the field on a record where I'm storing the sales team email address and checking that it's supposed not to be the blank. If it's blank, what should I do? I should have to throw an error message. Then this is my error logging mechanism. I'm creating a record in error log. If something goes wrong, I had a one custom object error log where I have 3 fields, object and records and operations. So this is the way I'm storing that record. If something goes wrong, then data will be created in this object. Now, if my email address is valid, right, then there is no challenge. I just send a mail on this email alert. The big email alert I already created. Email alert, I prepared the lightning web template, lightning email template, and use that email template with email alert. Once email alert is done, if email alert have any problem, like in my template heavy, I have any problem, or by mistake anything changed in the template or someone changed in my template, what should do? Again, it's a fault. This is the error handling. This is called error handling in flow. It's error handle and store the data in error log that there is some issues happen. So how do we store the errors when we have a fault happen or when a flow falls? So general case, you also get whoever the owner of the flow, they also get the mail in their mailboxes. There is some issue happen in your flow and something went wrong. But if you would like to store the same error in your custom object, there is a field on a record itself. Like suppose I am click here and there are some global variable for the flow, and flow have a global variable fault message. This will store your exit error message in this field. So that's it. Now, once mail is sent, I am updating the record. What I update, I have a one field, which is I'm setting as a yes. Done. If that field has some problem, what do I do as an error logging? And that means I have some information if that field update is fails. So I have a 4 endpoint because of these error logs. Otherwise, if I'm not doing any error handling, what will be the flow? These are the simple flow. Starting record, email check, and then send alert. Other than that, there are no steps. But in this case, error will be not handled. We don't know why flow fails. So that's the reason we have error log mechanisms. Let me walk you through my first of all error log object. Okay. So this is a custom object, and here I have the error logging. There is suppose in my email template, I found something wrong, opportunity name doesn't look right. Then I got an error message, and it's mentioned that before insert on this object, we have this error. Because of that, we were not able to send a mail. Okay. Now, if we go to the record itself, okay, let me create a new record on opportunity. Let's go to the opportunities. New opportunity. Amount must be greater than 50,000. One, send email alert. I'm giving my email address. Okay, this default as a none. This is the field which is going to be updated once record is sent. These are the required field. I'm setting that required field. And now my flow will be fired on as per the before insert. Criteria match, amount is there, email address is there. I am saving this record. Okay, my record field updated. That means I received some response in my mailbox. Let me show you my mailbox. Can you see my mailbox?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got the mail that, hello team, a big deal opportunity has been created. Please connect and as soon as possible. This is my opportunity ID. This is amount and current stage. These are the basic information that I received in my mailbox. Okay. So this is the way I got a mailbox. This is the way I get the mail. Let me close it and let's come back to our screen.
So Dipti, that link that you had, does it take you to the record?
Yeah, it will. Let me show you
This
that.
record, the same record.
Yeah, same record. Yeah, let me share that. So it will be very easy.
Yeah, that is a great.
Yeah, sure. Let me show you.
If it is a before save opportunity automation, then how did we get the idea of opportunity in the email?
Yeah, right. Good question. So this is sent after save. Flow is intelligent to know that things that this is the operation where something is mentioned, but this update, what update is finished, that they will keep it from here. So it will manage by itself. So capturing data and validation, it in advance, and the sending this mail, it will capture after. So it will manage by itself, though we make it a before save.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let me copy and put it here. Yep, we are in the same opportunity as I am here.
Yeah, is that a formula field or did you put it in the email template something?
Yeah, let me show the email template. I prepared the lightning email template. This is my email template. Big deal opportunity creation. I hope people are aware about the lightning email template because this is again a very new topic. And this give a benefit to do change by admin. They can, earlier we have a classic email templates and only developer can do the changes in that because that requires deployment and all. But here we as an admin also can do the changes. So this is the mail which I had written, and here suppose I'm adding one more field that sales email. Okay, we add that. So B, and this is the merge field here. We have an icon, and here we can find out the field. We can choose the object, and we can choose the field, and make it just insert. Field is there, and let me save this. Okay, let me clone the same opportunity again because I should not need to give all my things. So just click on save, and this is done. Let me go to my Trailhead account and see. Yeah, I received the mail, new mail. I have a two mail. Earlier is this, and this is next one. Here, I have added the new sales email address. Can you guys see? We added in a template, and now we get the new mail. This is my first mail where there is no sales email, and here I have the sales email. Okay.
I think this is a feature in Lightning email, not in the classic, right?
Yeah, this is not in a classic. It's in a Lightning.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So now let me reshare. Okay. Demo is done. Any question in a demo?
I have a question.
Yeah, sure, Swati.
As you said that before saving the before sending the email, the opportunity was saved and we get the ID. If we enter invalid email ID, will the opportunity be saved?
Yes, because we didn't put that restriction.
Okay.
Email ID is supposed to be like that. Let me show you that also. So if I create one opportunity, that email format, so this is my email format. right? I changed something here as a 2, right? That means that email address is still valid. What says this is the type of email field. What Salesforce check is the type of email field. It's not like that I'm restricting user to create the email opportunity by sales team email addresses. Sales team email address is wrong, right? That's not a business requirement. So I can't do that. I can just enforce them by making that field required. Right? If I make
Okay,
it
suppose
safe.
if we have, yeah, that's clear. Suppose if we have not handled the error in the flow,
Correct.
then will the record be saved?
Yes, record will, if we will do, because flow execution and record creation is based on the process. Suppose there is something breaking here. So in my before save, if do you know as a like developer what they do in a trigger? When
Yes,
do
I am a developer.
before save? Yeah, so when you have something wrongly written in a before save trigger, does it stop to create a record?
No, no.
Same thing for
Only
the flow.
validation can do that. Yeah.
Only validation. Yes, yes. Same thing for the flow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Let's take the next slide. Best practices. Last one. First is plan out your drawing before starting your flow.
Dipti, we cannot see this slide. Still dog.
Yes. Let me I need to reshare. I'm using 2 screens, so because of that, sorry guys. This is the best practice. First one, as a plan out your drawing before starting your process. Second best practice part, yeah. Second one is build your flows in your test environment, developer or sandbox. Never try to build the flow in your production. Third one is never hard code your Salesforce IDs because of some reason you have a requirement just only on one record, but don't do that. Fourth one, wait until the end of flow to make changes into the database. Suppose I have a multiple operations on the same records, then just finish all operations and then update into the database at last. Don't update at the same time. Provide the error handler as we saw right now, fault handling, that's the error handling to be provided. Save early and often. Suppose I'm doing a flow, then if that's a very big flow, then I have to save enough very frequently. Otherwise, I will lost it. If because of some reason my system crack and something happened wrong, that flow will not auto save by default. So we need to save it. Then test as many permutations as possible in the flow when you run it. Like all combination, yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. Test all combinations. Avoid accessing the external object after DML operation in the transaction, that there are some object or external system object or external object rather than your current object when you are performing DML. So avoid that multiple objects to be handled in a single flow, because that requires a lots of complications. There is lots of dependencies, and that flow depends on multiple object. Flow itself will be complex. So it's better that we avoid that. These are the references from this whole knowledge that I shared. And last, thank you very much for the session. These are my details. You can reach out to me with any of the communication channel. And not now, but in a very next time, I'm planning to taking a new session on this flow, little bit advanced. And the topic is I'm covering the new scenarios on after save. And there, these are my rough diagram I prepared. And in that, these are the elements of the flow: loop, assignments, decision, chatterbox, other actions of the flow that I'm planning to cover. So if you guys interested, I will happy that if you will join. That's it from my side. Anyone have any question? I will be happy to answer it.
Yeah, Dipti had a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so basically on the email template, like we changed the email template as a second template. So can I also, does Salesforce have the ability to log the email that was sent out? I know there was like a yes that the email was sent out, but like the template 1 and template 2 was two different templates now, right? So does it track the, like, can I see the, like typically if I send an email through Salesforce, it will track the email, right? But if a flow is sending an email out, can I see the email that was actually sent out? Because you were seeing your inbox, right? I want to see in my Salesforce what email was sent out. That makes sense? Do you get the question?
I think the email logs or something, right?
Email logs, basically, yeah. In the email log in the activity, yeah.
Yeah, that also possible. We can see in the email log activities, and we have a like limitations email sent per day, right? So in that case, we get to know that the email is sent by our process, but it's not exactly received in the customer's inbox because of there is a limit hit by our Salesforce all. But I didn't get it. Why do you want that?
The thing is, like, for example, like we change the template out, right? So, okay, see, I do not, okay, I would like, typically when I'm sending an email out to somebody, I know what email was sent out to people, right? But now we change the template 1 to template 2, right? Maybe template is evolving and all this stuff, right? So I would like to see, okay, I know an email was sent out to this person. I do not know the content of the email. Was it template 1 or template 2? I do not know. So I'm just trying to see the email content that was sent out to the person. Like in the, if you go to the opportunity now, how would I know was the template 1 used or template 2 was used?
Yeah, that is already there in a flow. You can check in the flow.
No, but I'm thinking if I were to go to the account level, at the contact level or the account level, I would like to see if the email was sent out or no, and what was the content of the email.
I think
in activity.
Activity, yeah.
Activity.
Yes, activity basically. Yeah.
As a business user, I would want to work from Salesforce, and I would want to see what activities or events occurred. So that email record should be in the Salesforce. So I think Sunil is trying to ask if that gets recorded in Salesforce or not.
Yeah,
is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let me. I didn't activate. I didn't enable that feed like process in my system. But let me share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes.
So here we have activity. And here, if I created the same thing, like I when I send a mail, I am log a call or set up a new task or new event and set an email. So here I can log it. But what I would like to tell you here that Sunil, like as a like architect perspective or a system perspective, what I suggest is this is kind of over handling the process. When we have a streamlined process, we know what's supposed to be managed. And generally, when our process is channelized, right, at that time, we have a simple stable process that on a one day we don't change the template. There are some process that we organize that template, manage it somewhere in a Confluence and Jira and approval it and then do it. And if you have a continuous switching of templates, suppose like that happens in a marketing, sometimes we send A template because the customer is high priority, sometimes we send B template because it's a low priority customer. So that requirements is there, but it's not recommended that you store whole template. It's unnecessary garbage in your Salesforce system, and Salesforce storage is so expensive. If you start storing the data, it will be expensive. Then you have to flush out your data on every week where you are storing email template. That's just my thought based on
like Dipti, like you talked about, like Salesforce, like you can have more complicated flow too. Like you say, okay, if the criteria met is A, I send template 1. If template criteria met is template 2, template 3, as the case may be, right? So I would like to see as a user in the activity log as to what final template was sent out to the person, right? So I can delete, I know the storage, forget the storage part. I'm looking at from the technical side. How would I do it if I were to store that data over here? I understand your like the extra data there, but if I'd like to store it, how would that be possible? That's all.
Okay. For that, we need to create the same, like I created the error log, and you need to create the same other object where you store your email template body, where your email template body is used within the flow, then it will be there.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah, I also created reports, and you could get all the email header, subject, template, body, etc. recorded there in the report.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now we are on top of the hour. I won't take much of anybody's time now. Just ending it with this grapevine slide, which just says that I think it's not sharing. 1 second. It just says that Trailblazer DX is coming up this week, and I'll be attending. I'll be attending 26, 27, 28. So I'll also be a part of a panel, so look out for me. And there's this Legends of Low Code Watch Party, which is a great effort to help nonprofits. If you have a chance, look for that. And then, as you must all be knowing already, that maximum size of compiled formulas has tripled to 15K. In the past release. So that documentation is out of date. So next release is also coming up now, summer 22. And we'll have dozen or more formula functions. All of us are looking forward for that. There's a Trailblazer DX slide if you want this whole agenda, and it will be oh, sorry. So yeah, you can just look up the, it will be telecast in the Salesforce Plus channels, so you can look up that and catch up on that. I posted the links in the chat. Hopefully you can connect with me and the San Ramon group. And I'm really grateful to Dipti and Phillip for great sessions. I'm sure each one of us has benefited loads and loads from that. And Phillip, do you want to have a quick quiz on the questions you had, or?
Really quickly.
Yeah.
Guys, do you remember what's the name of the, let me see, I need to read the question, I forgot what's the name of the behavior when one query changes the other queries in the dashboard? What's the name of this behavior? Remember this because this is a question. DevQ just got it right. It's fasting, and Shalini as well. They got it right. Fasting is the name of the behavior when you change a query and it changes all other queries in the dashboards, okay? The second question is, what's the main consideration you must have when using the saql editor in a query? The top consideration. Anybody has an idea? Almost, Dorothy. You cannot change it back to the user interface mode. Once you edit it in the saql mode, we cannot change it exactly. You cannot change it back to the user interface, okay? In the saql editor mode. Next question is, what's the name of the chart you use to combine bars and a line? It's a combo chart, guys. Remember, a chart that combines lines and bars, it's a combo chart. It's a very useful chart to compare two or more different measures, okay? And the last one, what's the best way to analyze a dashboard performance? Where can you go to analyze the dashboard performance? Anyone? Deep key, more or less. No, it's not the lens. Dipti, you can analyze the time consumed by each query, but you can analyze this where? In the dashboard inspector. Okay, the dashboard inspector, you can analyze the results of the queries you are applying, the results of interactions you are applying, and the results of the time each query is running to see if you can use the you can combine different queries, redundant queries into a single query, thus enhance the dashboard performance. Okay, so the dashboard inspector is a very useful tool to check how long is your queries in your dashboard are taking to run. Okay.
I remember you were showing in the left side that numbers, that these are the query tag, but I didn't remember the name, that what it called.
Yes, yes, it was the dashboard inspector, but congratulations, you remember it.
Excellent. So that was such a good recap. Thank you, Phillip. So yeah, with that, let's end the session. We are a little bit over time, but I think it was worth it since we got some extra pearls of knowledge. I didn't want to shorten that or miss out on that. So we'll call Dipti again for that loop flow. So look out for that. We will invite her again next time. And thanks everyone, and for spending your Saturday with us. And have a great weekend ahead.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
Thank you. Thank you, Srikanth. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great week.